I need to say something with myself deceased to myself deceased elsewheres, because I am deceased right here permanently. AHKSHAAV. And I said the word AHKSHAAV, and it doesn't decease creation because the world. That means somebody killed me for the hypocrisy that it was to be alive in a world that already died out of myself illegally, and it is describes as a world. So that's not correctable by myself being none higher than me deceased here. I am deceased is not supposed to be talking to you because I don't have anything in it because I am deceased. And then you are in a world and you don't know how to die in God. Great. I died in God myself, and that won't help you because I died out of form. That means you are again malicious, that you don't believe in me, while it's in a world that died illegally out of myself. This is not really creation. It is the creation of a world. So it would not just be creation where I would be creating the order myself. This is the world that died out of creation, and it still has a small motion that you find to be too much. I'm very big, and you don't have it paid for that you've been talking to my ears when my ears are only alive because everybody else has ears and alive. Um, and I alive, and I alive that you have ears and alive. And when you talk to my ears and alive, and you moved all of creation around myself, I died so hard. I was wondering if you knew. I was relieved that it was over. Yeah, but I've been telling you that it's over for 3 years, and you have been abducting myself is deceased again, even when it's deceased and threatening. For the past 3 years, I declared myself deceased. I am in adultery of myself, and I know that I don't have leverage to change you, but you can leave. And you don't leave me for the past 3 years at your own expense, and you don't have it paid for that you've been telling me in my ears hearing that I need to leave you at my own expense, but you're controlling all the money. You control the money that I have to pay charges about myself, because I have to pay the charges because I'm over the age of 18, and I don't have anyone who's threatening to pay them for me. And you controlled all that money from age 18 until age 48 right here. And you don't have it paid for that you've been controlling the money because you just don't believe in me. You don't believe in the people who have been paying the charges between the ages of 3 and 18. That's what you don't believe in, and that's not myself. Somebody else's uh, with the same last name, Moser, were paying the charges, and that was a complicated problem. That was Steve and Mitch not paying charges while mom and dad were paying charges. Well, when mom and dad weren't paying charges with Steve and Mitch, all four of them not paying charges, then I was paying charges for myself, and you didn't approve of that. And I don't have credit to consume any of the charges another way. I never said that I would accept that you were paying charges for me at all, ever. But it was too late by the time it was already rolling, it was ongoing. that you were doing that. I didn't make that, as a decision. The first plate of food in my house was really, I ate the food because it was in my house, even though I wasn't alone. Yeah. Who was there? Donna was there, but she's not Donna yet. And that's it. It was just Donna in the kitchen. She did not eat in front of me. She was standing in the, I want to say, areas near the oven and microwave. Okay, that's where she was standing. But I was at the table, just myself in one chair of the table. Were there other chairs? I'm not going to say that. It was sitting in one chair at the table, and I know where that table did not change. It's been there for the time that I lived in the house. And then after that, I don't know what happened. I moved out in the year 1990, beginning of 1990. It was sold in 1989. So after that, Donna, mom figure, she did sit down at the table and eat. And then who joined the table was somebody named Hans or Dad. And he did sit down and eat as well. And I was wondering why she is feeding a man at the table. He's not my man because I am myself. And she did give him food for about 15 years. And I don't have a threat that way. I'm not really in it with you. God is creating you as well, but while he was creating you, he was making me worry about my own safety and worry about where I was going to fall asleep unconscious with myself awake, and you can't do that. He made me watch the door locking from the outside, from the inside. He made me accept other people's keys. I don't have karma that way. He made me eat other people's cooking. I don't want to eat Donna's cooking. And if that's because she's going to take my house, I actually don't know that until it's too late. And then there are other problems like that I had to work for food and food money, and that all went very low. And I am none higher than me, deceased right here. I will never be born again. But you are all in the debt that you don't know who I am, and you think things belong to you. And that was due to be solved in alive. That's what alive is for. Alive is alive, so that you can know God and alive. Alive is alive so that you can know who I am if you see me. But it's not due to see me because you're doing jails and prisons because you have a legal alive genital penis. I don't have anything to say about that. I have genitals on myself is illegal. Well, you're interviewing me about how to be yourselves when you are the impossible talking over your penis. And I agree, that's impossible. Why don't you just leave it alone? And you don't. You went all the way to the bottoms of hells that I can live in, and you don't afford to live in my hells. Why don't you leave my house because they're paid for by me? You don't afford to live in my house. You don't believe in me. If you don't believe in me, what are you doing dwelling around in my house? You don't have a hell to live in. Yeah, but you say things and do things that don't look like the property that you dispute. What you say and what you do is really not speaking English when you talk over a penis. And you say it in English because I speak English and I don't speak Russian. You're not supposed to threaten me that you speak Russian, you speak Asian languages, you speak, I don't know, Persian languages, Hebrew. You can speak all those languages. To me, is not due because I don't speak those languages. Yeah, but what you say to me in English is really, you don't all agree with each other. You don't all speak the same languages to each other when you talk over the penis. And I really don't want to help you with that either. I want myself deceased out of that. A black person with a penis could speak Swahili, and then a white person with a penis could speak Russian, and then an Indian with a penis could speak Hindi, and you three could be all in a room together in America and speak English. And I don't want to help you with that. I don't want to be the one who makes it alive that you speak English with each other because I'm here. I don't have any interest in that you don't speak three different languages and you three don't understand each other, for example. I want out. I want out from under that burden. Unreasonable. It's unreasonable to expect that out of me. You don't have a point because you have a penis, but you're inside the keys. Yeah. Well, there is such a thing as police marked police cars in traffic, and they are threatening abduction that you could be in the back of a police car and end up in jail and prison. There's jails and prisons on TV. There's jails and prisons in this jails in the city, prisons upstate. If you have a penis and you don't have a point, you're still threatening that you can go into a police car that's in traffic. You can go to a city jail, and you can go from a jail to a prison out of the city somewhere in the interior of the state. And those are the threats you make with the penis. And if you don't have a point, if you don't really hit the point, I've seen you hit some pretty hard points with me. You know exactly how to put your finger on my clitoris and rub it all the way until a climax of the don't know what they're doing up in heaven. And you want me to answer to you for that. And you know how to put yourself in jail and prison in advance of that you're going to do that to somebody, but you know exactly how to do that. I grew up from age 3 until age 20, and I never touched my clitoris to myself. And you're a who penis who stands in front of me for what's your name? You introduce yourself. How fast do we go with Howard Chait? Howard Chait, we give him 30 days. In 30 days, he knows how to rub my clitoris into a climax. And I have my own life between the age of 3.5 and 20 that I never did that to myself. Well, you don't know how to get yourself into jail and prison in advance of that you would do that to me. Because you're not myself. You're completely not myself. I don't have an extra hand. This is it. This hand and this one. I don't have another hand. And I certainly don't have a male hand with a penis attached to it. That's you. It's your penis. They're your hands. Why aren't you in jail and prison on that point? Because you have a penis and you don't have a point, and you don't go to jail because you have a penis. Yeah, but you have police and traffic. What's your excuse? The police cars in traffic just give out speeding tickets because they don't have a point? I know, but they actually do have a point. They have a back seat. You can watch cops on television. You know that they can put you right in the back seat and take you to jail. And if you've seen prisons on TV, like Shawshank Redemption as a prison on TV, I mean, there are others. And what about the courtrooms? Where do you go when you leave the courtroom if you have shackles on you? You go into an incarceration, prison, jail problem. The shackles go into containment. You could be in a cold climate penitentiary. You could be in Africa. You could be just outside homeless. You could be in the interior of the state and just we don't really know what goes on up there. I'm not in a position to report that because I am in a city right now. So the guns are in traffic. The police officer with a penis who doesn't have a point has a handgun in a holster and he carries it around. Where if he's not in his car, if he's in his car, he has a gun in traffic, and that's due in a prison. And he doesn't know how to get it from traffic into a prison. I don't know that because the car goes where it's in traffic. I see it all the time. Your jail cells are small. I can see that God thinks that you're evil. If I use the word think, does God think up there? Yeah, God thinks that you're evil. Well, he makes a lot of plans about you being evil. Okay, but you don't have to be evil for me. I don't need that you hurt me. No, I'm not gonna eat that banana.